how this goes. Take a moment to think about your everyday life. What do you like to eat for breakfast? What's your favorite meal at the Avenue, if you have one? How many times a week do you get a drink at Starbucks? And what do you like to get when you shop at Campus Market? Now, think through all those moments again in your head, all of those purchases that you make, and try to think about how much single-use plastic comes with each of them. Probably a lot. Single-use plastics have become such a norm in our consumer culture that we often forget to think about the environmental impacts of them. I first started to notice how staggering my own plastic waste was last year on my gap year, and this year I decided to cut back on it where I could. Of course, I'm not completely zero waste. It's really, really hard to do, especially as a college student. But I do feel like my small actions are making some sort of difference in this world. Single-use plastics are a huge problem, and as consumers, we have the responsibility and the power to make a difference. For starters, single-use plastics are a relatively new thing, according to the United States Environmental Protection Agency. They only began being mass-produced in the 1950s. Before that, grocery stores looked like grocery stores would look something like this. On the left, you can see that there's fresh produce without any sort of plastic packaging, and on the right, you would be seeing a bunch of soda bottles that are packaged in glass with metal caps rather than plastic. Nowadays, stores often cater to our convenience and look something like this. Everything is wrapped in plastic. Of course, not all grocery stores look like this, but many do. And it makes sense, right? Producers are trying to cater to consumer needs. Our lives are busy, and a lot of us would much rather pop a hot meal into the microwave from our freezer when we can. But at what cost to the environment does this convenience come? According to Sarah Knapton, the science editor of The Telegraph, humans have generated 8.3 billion tons of plastic waste since the 1950s. To give you a better idea of how much 8.3 billion tons of metric waste is, she created this handy-dandy graphic for us. My favorite fact from this graphic is in the upper right corner, where it says that is the weight equivalent to 1 billion elephants. That is a lot of plastic on this planet. And by 2050, 34 billion metric tons of waste is projected to be here. But a lot of people, when it comes to plastics, will ease their guilt because they tell themselves, well, it's okay, it'll just be recycled. Well, according to Trevor Nace's article published in Forbes magazine, global studies show that only 9% of plastics are ever recycled. Just 9%. And to put that in perspective of how much plastic is generated every day, according to the same article, 1 million plastic bottles are bought per minute. 1 million per minute. That's a lot, and only 9% of them are ever recycled. Monica Wilson's journal article, It's Time to Wake Up to the Threat of Single-Use Plastic, states that the world's top plastic producers are Nestle, Procter & Gamble, Unilever, and Coca-Cola. Here in the United States, our top plastic producers are Nestle, Solo Cup Company, and Starbucks. So these producers also have a responsibility to make a change in the products that they're putting out and try to make them less wasteful. But the thing is that they won't do it unless consumers show them that there's a demand for it. We need to show them as consumers that we actually care and tell them that we want change by buying only the things that are less polluting. Ben Packard, the former Starbucks sustainability leader, also thinks that consumer demands really matter. When discussing the waste of Starbucks' single-use cups, many of which go unrecycled, he said, Starbucks' plastic cups are a social norm issue, and that even though Starbucks is trying to change, you can't control your customer. They buy what they want. Well, every time I go to Starbucks, I like to bring my little reusable jar with me. I got it for $1 at Goodwill. It's super cute, and they give you a 10-cent discount on your order when you bring your own reusable mug. So it's good for my wallet, and it's good for the planet, and it's super, super easy to bring this with me wherever I go. I already have a big backpack with lots of things in it. And I made the vow to myself that if I didn't have a reusable cup with me, I wouldn't go to Starbucks, which is super annoying for me on days when I have a really big caffeine headache. But in the end, what it does is Starbucks just lost a customer, right? Because they didn't have more sustainable options available. So I'm creating that demand through little actions by showing them that I don't want to buy their products unless they come up with better options or unless I bring my own reusable with me. And if every single person does that, a big change can be made. We already see these changes happening with hydration stations popping up everywhere. Because a lot of us love bringing cute, fun, reusable water bottles with us, which we've often turned into fashion statements by putting all sorts of stickers on them. Right? So you can see the demands actually are met when there is a demand for them. There's currently 8.3 billion tons of plastic on our planet. And by 2050, there's expected to be 4 billion tons more. The ecological consequences of this are devastating, and we all know that what affects our planet affects us as well. So what are more ways that we can actually make a difference? Well, I already mentioned the swap from a plastic mug or cup to a reusable one, but there's lots of little things you can do around the house. I like to carry a reusable spork in this little bag on my keychain with me wherever I go, so that way I never, ever, ever have to use plastic fork on campus. A lot of people are getting really into having reusable straws instead of plastic ones, which I also have in this keychain. There's a collapsible straw in here. And people are switching from plastic toothbrushes to bamboo, and there's so many more things that you can do, little changes, that if every single person did, would actually make a huge impact. One of my favorite things that I'm looking forward to doing next year when I live off campus is bulk shopping, which is a way of avoiding plastic in grocery stores. So this is a picture of the bulk bins at California Fresh Market over near Slodoco. There's also bulk bins at Campus Market and in the PCB Market. And the way that it works is you go in with hopefully reusable produce bags, and you fill them up with all the goods that you need. They weigh them at the counter for you, and you charge based on weight. Then you walk out, and you have a bunch of food that you can cook with that didn't use any plastic at all. And there are also a lot of really awesome sites out there if you're wondering where to put your money to make a difference. Okay, well there's two sites that I really like. One is called ZeroWasteStore.com, and it has a lot of really awesome products that are plastic-free, and another one that's very similar is called Earth Hero. There's also tons of online blogs and YouTube channels that can help people shift away from plastic, which is so hard to avoid in our everyday life. Plastic problem can be daunting. It can seem a bit hopeless, given that our recycling system is super broken, and there's so much plastic in the world already. But we can make a difference for our future if a bunch of people start making a bunch of little changes. There's a saying, we don't need one person to do zero waste perfectly, we need a bunch of people doing it imperfectly. And the biggest way we can do that is by voting with our money. We need to vote for the kind of world we want to live in with our wallets, refusing to buy from companies that pollute. And when we do have to buy stuff, give our money to companies that are trying to make a difference.